Bird of Prey 5. El Caruga. Kapla. Kapla.
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Caruga. That's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
If you come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. If you're here to make war, we surrender.
Both good. The important thing is I'm meeting new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework factory. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. And that means you're going to make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Bird o' Prey 5 channel. Hail Caruga.
Hello world, it's Bird o' Prey 5, Cupla. Welcome to Bed Life for Monday, April 3rd, 2023. World Party Day. Yes, World Party Day, not just National Party Day. Party across the entire world. I'm already tired of partying. Anyway, LDG was first in the chat saying party time. Welcome, LDG. Stan Lee says, got Wordle in 3. My best result so far. Congratulations, Stan Lee. He says, I started with great if you want to throw down. Grate. So he started with great and got it in 3. Can I do better? Probably not. Probably not. Unless the word was like grats, maybe. I don't know. Well, you know what, Stanley? I don't usually take a first word like that, but today, since it's your best result so far, I will do Wordle starting with the word great. Congratulations. Richie Boole says, Kapla, Richie. Moxley fan says, Bird, Kapla, Bird, hope you and the family are doing well today. I hope you are doing well as well, Moxley. Moxley says hello to us all. And Rain, Moxley, have you been impacted by that terrible weather? I hope you are safe, Moxley. LDG at hashtag free the net says me too, triple X. Wait, oh lol, here we go. If you were looking for the tennis balls, LDG, I neglected to set them up. I ended up taking a nap. I ended up taking a nap before the stream, and yeah. Unfortunately, the nap did not go so well, nor did my last night sleeping. For whatever reason, the ventilator mask is making a whole bunch of noise, not sealing to my face for whatever reason. I don't know what. We tried changing the mask 3 times, and it's just one of those days. It's just one of those days. Yvette says, good evening, Bird and everyone. Just made it. Hello to the lovely Yvette. Yvette, all day people were asking, when was Yvette going to be back? Is Yvette okay? Is Yvette here? And all day, LDG had to remind them that you were especially busy today. Moxley fans is we, the people. Absolutely. And Low Specs Linux laptop is in the house. Kapla Low Specs Linux laptop. Moxley fans is Bird. No, I dodged the weather where I'm at in Texas. Well, it is awesome to hear, Moxley fan. Unfortunately, we've heard from people that have had the bad weather come closer to them than others. Our friend NB Geek, he got some minor damage, but there were people in his small town who had major damage. Tornadoes always scared me. As a child, I was, a New York City child. We never really had tornadoes in New York City growing up, but I had this fear of them. Mom O'Prey and our neighbor across the street lied to me. Like I accepted their, but like they lied. You lied to me, Mom O'Prey. You told me tornadoes couldn't form in New York City, that they needed flat land to form. They don't form in cities. Well, that's what I was taught. Well, that's what she was taught, but it's not true. They can absolutely form in cities. You don't need flat land for tornadoes to form. And Renee, the next door neighbor, she was agreeing with you. And like I put any, because I was a kid at the time, like, oh, adults know what they're talking about. Adults don't lie to children. It was a lie. It wasn't true.
It's not true, but we were under the belief that it was true.
Sorry, it's a lie.
That's not a lie.
Just because you didn't know you were lying doesn't mean it wasn't a lie.
Wow. Pick on Mom O'Prey Day.
No, I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying, and I'm not even saying you were wrong. You were still right to do it, because I never would have slept if you didn't tell me that tornado wasn't going to get me.
Well,
it was based on complete bad science, but it worked. It worked.
I guess I knew I was wrong when the tornado touched down 3 blocks away from here.
Yeah, but that was years later.
Yeah.
Years later. John Araki with a $1 super chat. Thank you so much, John Araki. Jedi Bill says hello and kapla for bed life today, Bird of Prey. All should hail Karoga. Thank you, Jedi Bill. John Araki says question of the day for Mamo Prey. What was the first cell phone you owned, and what did you think of the technology?
I'm sorry, the first what?
What was the first cell phone you owned, and what did you think of the technology?
Oh my God.
No, or you go out and come back in and explain.
You could probably answer.
Tim Chris says, if it's not truly a lie, if you believe it. I see you're from the Mamo Pray School of Thought, Tim Christ. And Yvette with a £2 sterling super chat. Thank you so much, Yvette. Says, fingers crossed for Kissing Dax for you all. But we got Con. Thank you. Thank you. Cody Guy says, hey, welcome, Cody Guy. And John Iraqi says, bird unleashes tornadoes in city skylines with no qualms, because those aren't real people. As for my thoughts on the Mamo Pray question of the day, she personally, I don't think she technically owned a cell phone until probably the late 90s, when she was working in the city schools as a para. And then she used them only in an emergency. However, Dad O'Prey had bought into cell phones even in the mid 80s, when they were extremely expensive, and they needed to be powered by a car, and even then they were two heavy pieces, a battery pack, and then the phone itself. And he had them. He had one. He would use it from his car when he was going out on his stops to fix video games. And then later, when he was doing his gambling machine routes, and he needed to be, he needed a phone. God forbid somebody got angry. Yeah, I remember hearing the stories where Dad O'Prey, in his attempts to collect money from the machines, or met with angry people, shall we say? I thought everybody's dads had to deal with angry people with Uzis. Uzi machine guns. No, I didn't realize. Dad O'Prey's chosen profession was a little different than most. And yeah, he had the cell phone long before most people did. So I don't know which way Mama Pray is going to go. I was saying I didn't know if you were going to count the cell phone Dad O'Prey had, or if you were going to just tuck the first one you actually carried on you.
Well, that was what I was going to say.
Okay,
But
so
did you get it?
I didn't get into too much detail.
Well,
Words and pictures is Kapla, Bert O'Prey. Kapla, words and pictures. Whenever you'd like to come over. The Random Menace is greetings from the future, Bird. On your last video and streams, I have the feeling you have your mic levels on overdrive. It cracks a little, especially when you are loud. I've been trying to play with it, Random Menace. I actually lowered the gain on the last one, but I don't know. For some reason, it sounds better to me when the gain is high. But I do appreciate it. I'm trying to figure out how to help the audio. So, Mama Pray, how?
okay, first I'll say hello to everyone. No, it's Monday. I was about to say, I hope you're having a good weekend, but no, that's over. Okay, cell phone. Well, do we count the car phone? That was the first phone that wasn't attached by a cord to the wall. Dad O'Prey got this, I don't know. The car phone it was like a box, at least 6 inches wide maybe 10 inches tall because it had a battery in it. And no, it didn't have a battery. That was all the workings because you had to plug it in to the cigarette lighter in the car. Don't ask me what year this was. And I think we only had one. And whoever needed it, like mostly him. But I remember one time I had gone to Atlantic City and I had it in my car. And it really came in handy because I thought it was 9:30 when I left the casino, and I told them I'd be home by midnight. I got into the car and I had a friend with me, and I said, look, I thought the valet weren't supposed to touch your radio or anything. She said, what are you talking about? I said, look, it says 12:07. It's 9:30. She said, no, it is 12:07. That's not the radio station, that's the time. So I quickly pulled over and used the car phone to call Dad O'Prey to let him know I was fine and on my way home. So I remember the car phone. Then...
But your watch was broke.
Oh, yes, my watch, but it didn't break. It ran slow, and it was running slow from 6 p.m. that I can... anyway, the watch really did continue to run slow after that. Anyway, that's a whole other story. Then the cell phone I remember Dad O'Prey having was this thing that was about 3 to 4 inches wide, 12 inches tall, and then it was an antenna that pulled up from that. I didn't really use that. My first cell phone was a flip phone, which I kept the flip phone, maybe not the same phone, but the same type of phone, until right before grandson O'Prey, nephew O'Prey to you guys, was born. That was my first smartphone only 3 years ago, and Bird bought it for me. Up until then, I was very happy with just my flip phone. And all I do now on the cell phone is talk to Sis O'Prey and nephew O'Prey so I can see them on video. Otherwise, the cell phone sits here. I take an occasional picture, which I cannot figure out how to transfer it anyplace. So, I mean, to me, I might as well still have the flip phone, except to see Charlie. That's my story for phones. I can't do anything else but make a call or a video call. And I know it does a lot of other things, but I use the computer even for text messages, and I just sit at the computer. It's hooked up with the phone. Right, Joe? That's what you did?
What?
What? My text messages and my...
Yes.
And my Facebook
You
and...
can do it all through your
all
computer.
through the computer, yeah. So, I'm not very phone savvy. That's it, guys. That was the answer to the question.
Thank you, Mama.
Oh, the technology is way beyond me. It was then, and it is now.
Okay.
I won't say, have a good evening, guys, or wherever you are. But it is not Friday, it's Monday.
Monday.
I got it.
Cody guy says they used to be bricks. They did indeed. Captain Fandom Nerd says hello, hello, Captain. Hakeem says, hey, Bird and all. Hello, Hakeem. Stan Lee says, great start if you want to throw down. I started there and got it in 3. Best result ever. Ever gotten a hole in Wordle? A Wordle in one. Stanley, I coined the term Wordle in one. But did I ever truly get a Wordle in one? I don't even remember. Probably not.
I did before I started getting hints too.
Mama Prey did, she says. Before she even got hints. She got one once. John Araki says hashtag trust no one except Tuvok. I don't know. Should we trust Tuvok? He was still combing the desert last I saw him. Fact. I have this short up on the Bird o' Prey 5X channel.
We ain't found shit.
Yeah.
We ain't found shit.
A 3 second, not a 2 second short.
We ain't found shit.
Tim Russ's most iconic performance.
We ain't found shit.
We ain't found shit. It is there on the Bird o' Prey 5X channel for anyone interested. Now it's not playing as a short because it's harder to pause it and whatnot, but it will show up as a short if you watch it through the shorts link. I'm showing it now as a regular YouTube video because it stops after each play, which is what I prefer. Okay. But anyway. Stanley says, I almost want to start Googling Wordle strategy. I'm sure there are better words to start with that include the most vowels. Yes, there are. There's quite a bit on Wordle strategy. Two of the best words they claim to start with are chain and train. Though in talking with other Wordle players, I really like the word arise, A-R-I-S-E, and actually LDG's real name, L-O-U-I-E, Louis, is actually a Wordle word as well because it has a meaning other than the name. So it is a valid Wordle word. And that one, L-O-U-I-E, that gets damn near every vowel except A. So also an excellent starting word. Stanley says, funny, I was recently trying to remember a list of all the cars our family owned through the years. Well, I mean, the last one I owned was an Infiniti QX56. Well, it was leased, technically. Before that, I owned a 2002 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Before that was 1996 Jeep Grand Cherokee, but I got it in 98. And before that was a 1986 Jeep Cherokee, but I got it in 1996, which was the first year I could drive. The family, I know Dad O'Fray, he had, well, the most recent truck he had was the 2004 Chevy Avalanche. Before that, he had a cheap minivan he found. He just decided he was going to buy a car, and he was like going to buy it for $300. And I was like, where the hell are you going to find a $300 car in New York City? And I don't know, he just drove around the neighborhood and he found a minivan with a for sale sign on it. And he talked the guy down to like $300. And next thing I know, he had a $300 minivan. It did what everything it had to do. He didn't give a shit about it. When it would break, he just figured he'd just leave it where it was, I guess. It worked for many years for him. Then he got my old Jeep. Before that, he had 2 different work vans, Ford work vans. An old brown one, like my entire childhood. He owned this old brown van. And that was his work van. Yeah, that's what I said. Oh, well, I didn't get to the Lincoln yet. Then his nice car was a Lincoln Town car. He owned that. So when they bought it new in 84 or 85, all the way up till I was in college. I was in college and I think I sold it. I think I sold it off to a family friend, I think. Which is a shame because I remember driving it on its last one of its last drives. I never drove it a lot, but the final time, its final ride, I realized the goddamn thing handled like a boat. It was fun to drive. It's so big. So big. It felt like you were in a boat. Yeah, comfortable. Even for a 25-year-old luxury car, American luxury car, it was so comfortable to drive compared to my Jeep. Well, don't get me wrong, I loved my Jeep, but it was nice to have extra inches above my head and not be so tight in a car. Like, God forbid I was in an accident. If I was ever in an accident in the Jeep, I figured I was dying. There was no space. There was nowhere for my head to go. It would just be instantaneously hitting the roof of the Jeep. Whereas in the Lincoln, I felt like you got half a shot of surviving. Stanley says, and I must have spent a year or more in the back of some of those cars, but couldn't even remember us owning them at first. Yeah, before the town car was a very similar car. It wasn't a town car. It was another big old 80s. Mama Frey knew it. A Mercury Crown Victoria. Yeah. And Mama Frey, she had a Ford Escort. Then she had a Tempo. Then a Pontiac Aztec. No, not Aztec. Pontiac Astro van that they stole. Those bastards they stole, and Mama Prey was already in a very depressed rut, and the stealing of her car made her even more depressed. It was very, very sad. Then Papa, my dad's father, who owned a used car lot, said, "Oh, I'll replace it," and got her an old Chevy Celebrity. Before the Celebrity, the Audi Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, she He had an Audi, a 1976 Audi Fox. It was, everything on this car was a manual crank sunroof. I remember, oh my God. It was not drivable.
One door was a different color.
Yeah, one door was a different color than the rest. I mean, Mama Pray, her minivan was super nice. It was a really nice, hot red looking, brand new Pontiac Astro. It was like a fucking, for a kid, it looked like a spaceship. Like, honestly, I thought it was like a futuristic car, the Astro van. It was like Ciso Prey and the Ciso Prey recalled which, because it had 3 rows of seating. So she got the middle seats and I got the back seats. And yeah, Mama Prey drove to Florida with it and back. In Florida, some schmucks, probably LDG, keyed the car just because it had a New York license plate. They were like, fuck you, New Yorkers. You're ruining our state. And granted, they're probably true, but we were just visiting. Florida asshole keyed the car, but that was it. Other than the key, the car was still in great shape. Then Mama Pray went back to work as I guess summer was over and she started her job again as a para for emotionally disabled, emotionally disturbed students. And she came out to find her car completely gone one day. And that was it. And everybody never found it. It was a leased car before they had the insurance to cover it, before they had gap insurance. So even though her car was stolen, she still owed thousands of dollars. So she couldn't afford to replace it. That's why Grandpa, Papa Opre, got her a 1976 Audi Fox. Later, I think it was a 1980 something Chevy Celebrity that was also, apparently it was a very famous, famous to be stolen. Thieves would target that car and steal the computer and the radio too. Mama Pray took us to the movie theater, the United Artists Theater in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, which was like the nicest movie theater we had ever seen. Growing up in Canarsie, there was the local Canarsie Triplex, which I read was the old-time movie theater that was just on like your main avenue down in like, I mean, granted, Canarsie was part of Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is not a small town, but Canarsie was kind of a small town. And the main avenue of Canarsie was Avenue L. And you had like your pizzerias and your bakeries and your all different types of shops on this, going down the avenue. And one of the biggest thing there was the movie theater. But it was, it was a small theater. It didn't even take up an entire block. It took up part of a single block. And they had 3 screens, small, and smallest. And so that was the regular movie theater. And then this United Artists opened in Sheepshead Bay. And it was, oh my God, it was huge compared to anything we had done. It had 8 screens or something like that. And it took up an entire fucking block. And it had to us as kids, it had fucking so much parking. It boggled my mind. I couldn't believe there were movie theaters so big. Of course, once I was able to drive, and once I ended up going to college and stuff in Long Island, then, Jesus Christ, even the shittiest Long Island movie theater blew United Artists of Sheepshead Bay out of the water. Blew it out of the water. And then the big movie theaters on Long Island, it's like it was its own fucking zip code. But anyway, as a kid, we're at this movie theater. We thought it was the top shit, the biggest, bestest movie theater ever. And God knows what we were watching, probably fucking batteries not included. And we come out, and I say, oh shit, Mama Pray, the radio's gone. Somebody stole the radio. And she's like, oh no. And she looked in the glove box, and yeah, of course, the computer was stolen too. She couldn't even start the car. I don't even know how they got it home. How did you get the car home?
I guess we called Daddy.
Obviously, we called Dad O'Prey. Yeah, I guess. I don't know if he came with another computer or what, but eventually got it home. Anyway, yeah, but I remember that computer being stolen out of that car at least 4 or 5 times.
And then the car would just stop on its own.
Yeah, the car would just stop on its own sometimes. Probably from the bad connection to the computer, but it keeps getting pulled out by thieves. Eventually, that had to be replaced too. Yeah. Yeah. Then Mama Pray got her Ford Taurus at some point. That was she really loved her Ford Taurus, and she traveled. She went down to Florida with that car and back again. Yeah. Yvette had a mid to late 80s, had car phone. Interesting. Very cool. Stanley's is, was it Ferrari? No, it wasn't a Ferrari. I'd like to take those on joyrides. Yeah, fancy old car phone. Stanley says, but you can tell because the attendant will usually act a bit odd. Oh, if they took your car on a joyride. Yeah, I see what you mean. You're from the movie Will Ferris. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Yes, I see it now. I understand. Stanley says, those were the best. Now you can't pretend. Now you can't pretend you're Captain Kirk. What do you mean? Oh, so Yvette says, I had one of the first mobile phones with a huge battery that was in the bag you had over your shoulder. Yes, we had something like that. Jedi Bill with $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Jedi Bill. He says, Kapla for kissing Dax. Maybe. We'll see. It's been a while since we've had a kissing Dax through the super chats. This could be the day. This could be. Anytime now. It'll pop up. Yvette says my first real mobile was a Nokia analog. I had the old, like the one-piece Nokia. Jedi Bill got Khan too. Random number generator. We see the same ones over and over quite a bit. Stanley says, or a nice slider, like NEO, and play Candy Crush. Oh, no. Easily my first 3 cell phones were black and white, or, black LCD screens. They didn't even have color, let alone games. And then the first cell phone I knew by name was we got these for the Starcom, the flip phones. And man, those lasted a while. I used to have on my keychain the tool needed to replace the antennas. When those Starcoms, they had the antenna that you push down or pull up. The antenna was always breaking off, and you needed this special tool to unscrew the antenna and replace it. The Random Menace is Wordle time. Okay, Wordle time it is. Wordle time it is. Captain Fandom Nerd, using his 13-month super chat as a Karogan orphan, says Karoga sucks. Oh no, Captain. What? You are a Karogan orphan. Why would you say Karoga sucks? The Traveler's in the house. Hello, Traveler. Okay, let's get some let's get some Wordle. Let's get some Wordle. And we're going to start with great. Grate. I'm going to try and get it in 3. We got Ra. Ra, the sun god. Okay. Let's see. Ra. What can we do? Ra. NDY. Randy? Is that a word or just a name? It's a word. Oh shit, nothing. We just know the R and A's are still in the wrong spot. Okay. Do we think this starts with an A? But if it starts with an A, R can't be the second letter. Well, let's see. If A is not the middle letter and it's not the second letter, it's either got to be the first, fourth, or fifth letter. The least likely is the fifth. I did, R-A-N-D-Y. Huh? No, I said the A. The A is either first, fourth, or fifth. But I'm saying it's unlikely to be fifth. So we'll start with A. A rise, no, we can't do a rise. A lure, A-L-U-R-E, but E has already been used, so we don't want to do that. Allured. So they got it in 3. They got it in 3 with great. I'm going to go ahead and go off and assume that your second word was better than my second word. And Random Menace with a 30-month super chat says, what a privilege to be a member of the best channel on YouTube, to another 30 and many more. Oh, thank you so much, Random Menace. 30 months. 30 months. Oh my God. I'm so old. 30 months. As a YouTube, I didn't even have YouTube membership for the longest time. Thank you. Thank you, Yosef. It is greatly appreciated. Yosef and Carlo Albanese within seconds of each other for being my first channel member. Yosef, I believe, was first, although YouTube, because of the way they round, for whatever reason, rounding down, for some reason, Carlo shows up. Technically, Carlo showed up as the first member. Anyway, album. Let's try album. Rock Solid with his 30 months in a row says bah. There is no R in album, I'm afraid, but please, I was going to go with album, so I'm going with album. Okay, so we got an L in the right spot, and we have an A. A is in the wrong spot. So, of course, there's no A, so, there's no A at the beginning. So, A is fourth or fifth letter. We still don't know where the R is. So we have X, L. We know that's not an, that could be an R. No, I don't think there's an R after an L. That doesn't make any sense. So X, A, R. Block. Let's see. Plex, flower, layer, IA, OA, UA, roar. Pop culture curator with a 20 months in a row. Says mine's only 20, but I love you guys just the same. Thank you so much, pop culture curator. 20 months, 30 months, 30 months, 20 months. Crazy. Blar. What could this be? Clone. Lore. Laura. No. Flower. FLOUR. FLO. Fuck, no. We already tried you. God damn it. Should I try it though anyway? I think so. It'll help. It will help. Flower. Oh, cry. Okay, good. No, this is fine. So FLOR. We just don't know what the last one is.
Come, 17. Let's go at
Flory. Floro. Flor. Flor. Oh, Flora. Oh, we already had A. We already had A. There we go.
Excuse me.
Yes, Mama Pray.
Excuse me, guys. I must say, he really used to be smarter. Much smarter. Joe, you had the A, and I'm listening and holding my mouth and not saying.
Oh, it's hard to look back.
Yeah, I know. You got a big screen. I'm going out.
Thank you, Mama Pray. She's still mad at me. She's mad at me for saying that she lied about the tornado. Jedi Bill with a 25-month in a row membership says, we love you and all the at Berto Frey 5 family. Kapla, thank you so much, Jedi Bill. I greatly appreciate it. We all do. We all do. Okay. So I got it in 5. Congrats, Stan, Lee, and anyone else who got it before 5. You did better than I did. You did better than I did. Dave G. Sounds says hello to Mom Frey. Stanley says text it. Text what? Oh, the old texting days? Yeah. Stanley says, does the O'Prey family still have a landline? Abso-effing-lutely. I have a landline. I have a landline. It's how I do most of my phone calls. It's so much clearer than my cell phone. I can hardly understand people when they call on my cell phone. My landline, perfect. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says, hey, Bird, been lurking and would have said hi earlier, but been going rounds with the supervisor again. Sorry to hear it, Gorilla, but thank you for hanging out. Stanley says, yeah, some word surprised me. Like apparently Garth is a word. I know girth. Well, they're both words. Kyle Cullen lived long and prosper. Kapla, Kyle. Stanley says an Aztec. Yeah, no, okay. The Aztec is maybe the most ugly SUV ever created. That said, I actually didn't hate the Pontiac Aztec. Like the Pontiac Aztec was my quote unquote safety car. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was making good money. I was making good money, so I had the opportunity to lease and buy some very nice cars, SUVs. Okay, I went from a 2002 Jeep Grand Cherokee, which I bought new at the time. I had been at my job a couple of years, so I had plenty of money, and I bought this. I had a 60-month or 48-month whatever that's called loan. I had a loan. I paid it off, but just as I paid it off, it was getting time to replace because the warranty had gone out and there was things started falling apart. I mean, I understand I was a pretty heavy guy, and like the chair itself was starting to buckle under my weight. So I was like, okay, time to replace it. So I ended up going with the Infiniti QX56, which, oh my God, was so huge, so big, but man, was it comfortable. But if I ever got to the point where I couldn't afford another QX56, or I even couldn't afford another Jeep, because Jeeps were still goddamn expensive. I always figured, well, if I can't afford any other SUV, I would go and get myself a Pontiac Aztek, because man, were they cheap. They were shitty, but they were okay for what they were. But then they stopped making them, so you can't get an Aztek anymore. And never did I think that it would come to a point in my life where I wouldn't be able to drive. But if I had to, if I got the ability back to drive and I had no money, I would find a cheap used Pontiac Aztek and I would drive that for a while. Yeah, no, what Mama Pray had was the Astro van. It even sounded futuristic. It was like I thought we were living in the Jetsons. Stanley says, Gorillas, random thoughts. Yeah, my old boss had one of those. He thought it was so cool. Yeah, I did. Stanley says, it's surprising how many vehicles we go through. And now everyone has a drawer full of obsolete phones. And lots of room in the back seat. Actually, in the Astro van, the back seat was only 2 seats across, where the middle one was 3 seats across. So Ciso Prey tricked me. Ciso Prey knew I was going to pick the back seat because I didn't see it. I had not seen it. Ciso Prey had seen it. So she's let me choose. So instinctively, I went with the back seat because I assumed that's the one Ciso Prey wanted. As soon as I said it, she's like, good. I was like, why good? And then I saw it. And I was like, son of a bitch. Of course, I was like 12 years old. I don't know. Oh, I didn't say son of a bitch. But I was not happy. But I made do. I was happy in the end. I actually liked having, there was like a place you could store stuff in the wheel well. Yeah, there were no airbags in the back. No airbags. Oh, in the Lincoln either. Yeah, no, the airbag, the Lincoln, the year Lincoln was before airbags. Actually, it was the last year without a third brake light. It was the last year without a third brake light. The model year after had that middle brake light after it. Now I can't even imagine cars on the road without a third brake light. Like, what the fuck is a third brake light? People think they won't think it's the middle one. They'll think it's the left or rightmost. Stanley says, in the Lincoln, it depends on the size of the other car. Yeah, Crown Vic is a cop car, says Stan. Stanley says, Aztec, haha, Breaking Bad car. That's right. Oh, that's right. He bought it in Breaking Bad. That made it cooler than it ever deserved to be. Stanley says, and a celebrity has never owned a Chevy Celebrity. That's probably true. Stanley says, and Nad a Chevy Monte Carlo. Never been in Monte Carlo. And Stanley, effing Yanks. Daniel something. And it jumped. I'm sorry. Daniel Stenstam says, when I was in the USA in 1999, me and my friend bought a Chevy Nova 77. Drove it from LA to Key West and up to Charlotte, North Carolina. And I still got the license plate hanging in my kitchen. 867 SOL. Kapla Jedi Bill with the $1.99 super chat. Kapla for kissing Dax. Thank you, Jedi Bill. Man, that is one nice license plate. 867 SOL. Well, it sounds like it never left you SOL. So a well-made car indeed. Stanley's has had to keep making payments on a stolen car. Yes. Yes. Those were the days. Stanley says, I think a friend of mine had to keep making payments when he crashed his car, but was found guilty of dangerous driving, so insurance told him to screw off. Yeah, the insurance paid, but it paid less than Mamo Frey owed, so that she had to make up the difference. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. Hello, 47. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says, I bet her words were a lot harsher than that. Yes. Stanley says, save Ferris. Flip phone could pretend it was a TOS communicator. Oh, how much we did. The Traveler says, greetings, birds, salty turds, and nerds. Welcome again, Traveler. Jedi Bill says, yeah, it's about right. The Traveler has Nephew O'Prey, Sis O'Prey, Mom O'Prey, Sassy, and me emojis. Thank you, Traveler. Stanley says, I also found the R and A and also put them both in the wrong spot second try. Gotcha. Gorilla says, son of a bitch, another blizzard coming through. Oh my God.
Just fix that damn thing.
Jedi Bill with another $1.99 super chat. And another non-kissing Dax. But thank you so much. Stanley says, I was basically in the same spot. He's talking about Wordle. I had the RNA I found in the first guess, had them both in the wrong spots on the second guess, and he got lucky with guess 3. So you went from your second guess, and your third guess was Flora. Your third guess was that seems like a word that I would never have in a million years used as a guess. Captain Fandom Nerd did it. Captain Fandom Nerd with Kissing Dax with a $2 super chat says for Mamo Prey. Mamo Prey, Captain Fandom Nerd sent you $2 and got Kissing Dax.
Thank you. And I'm glad he got Kissing Dax. But thank you for the $2.
You can have an egg tomorrow, Mamo Prey.
Yes, I can. Actually, I bought 18 extra eggs.
18 extra eggs? What do you think? We're made of money?
Yeah. No, not made of money, but I needed the eggs.
For Sassy?
No, for Easter.
What? We can't be wasting eggs on Easter.
I gotta color them.
No, get paper eggs.
I wasted more on this stuff to color them.
I don't mind
But
getting
you see,
eggs.
I got $2. So now you can't complain.
So Charlie gets 1 egg to color for Easter.
No.
2 eggs?
No.
Come on, these are eggs. They don't come out of the.
They don't come out of chickens?
They don't grow on trees.
Okay, let's go back to Wordle. Do you want to know what my hint was?
Yes, I'm afraid. What was your hint?
Yosef wrote, this is not fauna. So I said, Laura, if it's not animal life, must be plant life.
Congratulations.
My mind thinks crazy, but sometimes it works. Okay, so don't cry over spilled eggs, because I didn't break them yet. Don't worry, I didn't get Eggland's Best. I got the cheaper brand.
So those are Sassy's eggs.
Yes, those are the eggs.
Sassy does not forgive or forget.
Oh. Well, if she likes hard-boiled eggs after I color them.
I'm sure she does. I don't like her eating hard-boiled eggs after.
Well, oh,
We have to live with the.
that's right.
We have to live with Sassy.
Yes, when she eats hard-boiled eggs. Yes. All right.
Ah. Pop culture curator says, Kaplabber to pray. Hope you are doing well. I hope you are as well. LDG says, cheater. What cheat? Stanley says, ouch. Stanley says, I'm so smirked. I'm so smirked. Stanley says, is that Klingon? And Hakeem put in the right answer, but LDG erased it. Sean Carter says, hello, hello all, Sean. Sci-Fi Nation got it too. Sean Carter says, hey to Pop Culture Curator. Gorilla says, I don't think the word is fuck. Stanley says, there's a letter you haven't used. I didn't read the chat, but thank you. Once I've started Wordle, my eyes leave the chat. Sean is waving. Cody guy is waving. Sean is laughing. The random message bird. Tell mom you don't have to be smart. You are pretty. And that is more than enough in this world. I don't think I'm going to tell her that. I mean, she heard me say it, but I don't want to repeat it. I feel a little weird. Captain Fandom Nerd says, Aranda Venice, what are you on now? Please share. Pop Culture Curious says, that's why I don't buy American-made cars. Worst in the world in quality. I don't know. I mean, that Lincoln Town Car, that lasted 20 plus years.
But understand the first 3 years, it didn't really leave the driveway.
Yeah, well, the first few years, it had a lot of problems.
No,
Huh?
we never used it.
We didn't use it. Well, but it did. You used it, went to Atlantic City, and then it ended up in the lot. Yeah, it had some issues in the beginning. Rock Solids is Bird of Prey. Richard Hatch got a Pontiac ass crack as a prize when he won the first Survivor. Really? Is that how far back it goes? Jedi Bill says, are you Walter White? Or should I call you Iceberg? Hindenburg? No, not Hindenburg. Heisenberg. Heisenberg. Call me Hindenburg. That's a better name for me. Hindenburg. Pop Culture Curator says, the people up front are your airbags. Jedi Bill's his way to go, Captain Phantom Nerd. Pop Culture Curator says, in California, we have to buy cage-free, so they are double the cost. You have to buy cage-free? Damn. Random Menace says, I bought for Easter Kinder Surprise eggs. Those with the toy inside. You knows, those more dangerous than grenades. Hey, Vile Mike said that the border guards told him they don't really give a shit about Kinder eggs. He's like, we really don't care about Kinder eggs. Because he was eating them before he made it back to the States so as to prevent, or at least opening them so as to prevent him committing a crime. Kronos is in the house. Hey, Kronos. Says, hey, Bird and all, did I miss anything while lurking? You missed me maybe playing Wordle. You missed the Mamo Prey tale earlier, Kronos. A Mamo Prey cell phone tale. Kronos says, I missed a lot of Mamo Prey while unable to type. Okay, so maybe you heard it. You heard it at least. LDG says, hey to Jedi Bill. The Random Menace is in Europe. Caged chickens will be banned by 2025, and some stores do not even take those from the suppliers. I am buying mostly free range. Not sure if this is the correct naming convention. Very interesting. Kronos is kinder equal kinder equal child. Kronos says childs make eggs for Karoga. No. Kronos has heard of that. He heard all of that. Good. You were lurking. Okay. And Kronos says he can't chat with his tablet. No worries, Kronos. No worries. Okay. So yeah, yesterday the Twilight Zone was on the Bird O' Prey 5X channel instead of the Bird O' Prey 5 channel. A quick reminder for everybody here, please make sure you are subscribed to the Bird O' Prey 5X channel as well as the main channel. If you're not, I'll put the link in the chat because I might end up using the X channel a little bit more again for some live streams like the Twilight Zone, like Enterprise perhaps. Might show up on the X channel more often. Might have some shorts showing up on the X channel. We'll see. Right, technically the only short I have on the X channel right now is the Tim Russ we ain't found shit. But who knows? Pop culture curator, Kronos with Bird of Prey. Wish my dad well. He is in the hospital. Oh, Kronos, I'm so sorry. Absolutely, I wish your dad well. Everybody, please wish Kronos' dad get well soon. Pop culture curator says, Bird, did you hear? They're going to put the RNA vaccine in all beef and pork products. No, I did not hear that, pop culture curator, and I find that hard to believe. Executive producer Saul Leibowitz says, "Got Bird. What will the great Karogan leader give to the orphan miners this Easter? They will continue to get job training, second to none job training. RNA vaccine and pop culture curator. RNA vaccine and beef and pork. Memes spread falsehood. That doesn't say that they're not doing it. Are they vaccinating the animal? Well, I guess it I guess it might require some more reading. Okay. It's scary. It is scary. Just today, my insurance agent, who I haven't spoken to in person for a number of years, she called to let me know that certain things were going up.
And this came in the mail.
Yeah.
Napping.
My home insurance policy. She made some changes to it because, anyway, the point was her husband, who she says in 2018 had an angiogram where his heart was completely clear and in good shape. Now, I don't know why you would have an angiogram if your heart was in good shape, but she claims it was. In 2018, well, a few years later, he got a certain vaccine, and next thing he knew, he was having triple bypass because he had now an enlarged heart and severe blockages. Now, he was on the same diet. They were relatively healthy and active people. It's not like he changed his diet and became sedentary. He didn't become a lazy ass or something in the last few years. He was still active and whatever up until the part where he ended up with pneumonia, and they found his heart was in terrible shape, that he needed open heart surgery. Is it possible that it was from the vaccine? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Did he have the vaccine right before it all started? Yes. Same with me. Same with me. I was all gun ho for the vaccine. I didn't even cross my mind that there would be any negative to getting it. And to this day, I don't know if the vaccine had anything to do with me getting pneumonia and my heart, mito, whatever it's called. I don't know if it was or not. I just know it was a coincidence. If it wasn't from it, it was certainly a coincidence. No. And unfortunately, at this point, I don't think we're ever going to know, at least not in the next 5 to 10 years, if any of this stuff is true or not, because there's so much politics on both sides that we're never going to get clear answers. What do we got? People are telling Kronos, oh yeah, Mo, pray for Kronos' dad. He's in the hospital.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Greg Stasser says Bird should interview Captain Shaw. He's doing a podcast with Robert Meyer Burnett right now. I don't think RMP is going to let me on. Although I do show my face, which seems to be RMB's biggest problem, but I have a highly doubt that I can invite myself on RMB's podcast. And Greg says, I know 3 people under 40 who are into fitness who had heart problems or a mini stroke. But Pop culture curator has an opinion on the vaccine. It's possible. It's certainly possible, pop culture. At least it would seem to me, I got the vaccine and then I got that thing. So who knows? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a biologist. Greg says they say there's an epidemic of veteran suicide. I don't know anybody who has heard of any vets who suicided. Greg, come on. There's been veteran suicides have been a problem in this country for decades, since Vietnam, probably before. And that's just of course I've heard of veterans killing themselves. It's very sad, but don't tell me that doesn't happen. That's just ridiculous. I don't know the percentages, but it's certainly a real thing. It's disgraceful because we should be offering our veterans so much more than we do. But yeah, it happens. It happens. People come home fucked up. They don't want to live. And frankly, veterans are able to, make a plan and follow through with it probably better than most. So if their plan is to end themselves, they can do it. That's why we have phone numbers for veterans to call in case. In fact, some of the veterans we know right now are in rehab, hopefully getting into a better physical and mental state. So it's April 3rd. It's Independent Artist Day, World Cloud Security Day, which I think is an oxymoron. World Party Day, that's what this stream is titled. A drop of water is a grain of gold. We encourage you to treasure every single drop of water you have. Hint, because the day's going to come when you're not going to have it. That's what they can't wait. They're going to charge us more for clean water. It's going to be very hard to find because all our water is going to be polluted with all of our drugs. With all the drugs we pump through ourselves, there's no way of cleaning them out of the water supply. They're going to come in. They're already finding measurable levels of things like Viagra, supposedly in the water supply. It is Armenian Appreciation Day. I don't know if you guys know Armenians. I'll be honest. I grew up in New York City, went to high school. In my best I can tell, I never met a single Armenian. And then after college, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think I met a single Armenian. However, during my time at college, in the engineering department of Hofstra University, there was a pretty good size of Armenian students they had a clique. Some I knew better than others, but they were, they used to hang out together a lot. And I learned about Armenian culture. I didn't even know Armenia was a country. I'm sorry, I didn't know it was a country until I met some of these people. And they're like, yeah, of course Armenia is a country. They're like, don't you know? Haven't you ever heard of Armenia? I'm like laughing at them. I thought they were joking. I was like, wait, I was like that meme, like, wait, are you serious? And they were serious. Like, don't you know anything about Jerusalem? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Don't I know anything about Jerusalem? I know it's in Israel. He's like, no, man. He's like, there's the Christian quarter, the Jewish quarter, the Muslim quarter, and the Armenian quarter. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? The Armenian quarter? I didn't even know. I did not know. So yeah, so apparently I was like, no, show me on a map. And like I had this small map that was in like my loose leaf binder, not the giant map on the wall. So he's trying to show me with his pen tip where Armenia is on this world map that shrunk to an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And like you can't fucking find Armenia on a map that's that size. And he keeps pointing at Turkey. I'm like, are you saying Armenia is Turkey? And that apparently is the wrong thing to say to an Armenian. Because as I would later learn, I had no idea any of this happened. That there was this genocide allegedly committed by Turkey against Armenia. And these Armenians, man, they are very angry over it still. Which I guess I would be too if I was an Armenian, but I'm not. I gotta say though, they really looked out for each other. And when I realized what a small percentage of the world population they are, and all the stuff they've overcome, I was a bit impressed. I was honestly a bit impressed. I was impressed. Maybe even a little jealous. But the Armenian guys, they didn't, for whatever reason, they didn't come across as the best of them. On the other hand, the Armenian women, goddamn. And that was before what's her face, Kim Kardashian. If you didn't know, Kim Kardashian is Armenian. I'd never known. Okay, apparently any last name that ends in IAN, like Kardashian, that's an Armenian name. And it held true for all the Armenians I knew. Every Armenian I knew, their last name ended in IAN. So, yeah. So appreciate an Armenian Day today. Now, you can just appreciate Kim Kardashian or some other Armenian woman and that way. But however you appreciate them, today's the day to appreciate them. Hopefully you do it a better way than I. Not Cardassians. Kronos is still on the phone. Thanks. Oh, you're on the phone with your dad. I get it. Okay, well, definitely hope your dad is doing better or gets well soon, Kronos. The random menace is any medication, including vaccination, causes in a tiny group of people problems. With COVID, one is more visible because it was the largest vaccination campaign in the history of the planet. Well, that makes certain amount of sense. Stanley says, can I filter all the Coke out of the water? Save a few bucks. Captain Phantom Nerd says, sent you a DM to Kronos. Stanley's a System of a Down. I don't know what that means. Pop Culture Curator says, Cher. Cher is Armenian. Is she? I would not have guessed. Stanley says, aren't the Kardashians Armenian? Yes. Yes, they are. But the Kardashians were not a thing when I started college in 1996. At least I didn't know of them. Stanley says, not like the Persians who like to use that instead of Iranian. No, that's right. Yeah. It's funny you say that because one of the guys I did know in college, I was like, oh, where are you from or whatever. He's like, I'm Persian. Persian? I had to Google it. I mean, granted, it was before Google. I probably asked Jeeves or whatever. And I was like, Persian? And it's like, yeah, Iran and Iraq. I was like, oh, he doesn't want to say he's Iranian. I get it. The Random Menace says Cardassians are not from Earth. Cinnabon says, hello, Armenia is fake, just like Australia and the moon. Stanley says they're bigger in California. Armenians? Maybe, because they're not that big at New York. Pop Culture Curator says most of the track aliens come from Armenia, apparently. Stanley says I think it was part of the USSR. I think so. So it didn't always exist in our lifetimes. Well, Armenia existed, but I think it was one of the Soviet republics. It's like calling a Pakistani Indian. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess, but even more so. Or a Spaniard Portuguese. That's some fighting words. You know, I only knew two people from Portugal. Well, two people of Portuguese descent. They were brothers. I mean, not a lot of Portuguese people I've ever met in my life. Only two. They were brothers. For a short time, we were good friends, but there was a falling out. Greg says you can't talk about the Armenian genocide. Well, I mean, I could. I don't know if somebody's going to stop me, but I just did. The Random Menace says, yes, Russia attacked and annexed Armenia in 1922, if memory serves. Stanley says they're well known for gold chains, hairy chests, and modified BMWs. I would say that is a stereotype, but I would also say that stereotypes often come from truths. Stanley says, oh, and lots of cologne, if we're lucky. There was this one guy, and I hate to say it, but in my brain, I always referred to him, and this is going to come out terrible. This is going to come out terrible. But he was the guy who was flying the fucking Armenian flag. So he was like the guy who wanted to define himself as being Armenian. So it's not like I'm the one calling him Armenian. He was the one who wanted to be identified as Armenian. But he also apparently didn't believe in deodorant. So in my head, I always called him his name, comma, the smelly Armenian. I didn't say it to his face, obviously, because he'd probably, have one of his friends smash my car windows or something. He seemed like that type of guy. But he would have done a lot better for his people if he would have used some goddamn deodorant. Greg says, remember the 6 million Armenians who immigrated to Canada? Is that where they are? Stanley, yes, aren't the Kardashians Armenian? They absolutely are. Stanley says, Family Guy likes making fun of them. They are a proud people. They work hard. They take care of each other. They honestly, for people from such a small country that's been through such horrible things, you gotta be, if you understand what they've been through, I don't see how you're not proud of them or think they actually did some great, amazing things. But yeah, sometimes it's fun to make fun of people like that. See, the thing is, they're really full of themselves. They're sure of themselves. Although, from what I found, they honestly have every right to be sure of themselves. They seem to be, by and far, a very smart and hardworking people. Greg says polio was the biggest vax campaign. Kids were paralyzed left and right. That's true. And Greg says Iranians are not Arabs. No, exactly not. Persians are not Arabs. Arabs come from the Arabian Peninsula. Persia comes from Iran and Iraq. Arabs are Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and the other countries on that peninsula. United Arab Emirates. Stanley says Persian sounds more friendly than Iran. Well, that's only because, the change in government that happened in Iran. The Traveler says, what is Bird talking about? I missed something. We're talking about Armenian Appreciation Day. Stanley says, Cinnabon, I agree with Australia, but I can see the moon. The Traveler says, I was kind of forced to get the jab. My health has never been the same. I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack when I go running now. Oh man, Traveler, I'm so sorry to hear that. Traveler's a Cinnabon, I landed on the moon, so it can't be fake. And his mechanic is Armenian. Awesome. We got a delivery, Mama Friday. Stanley was the Traveler. That sucks. I didn't want to get it either. I only got it because my brother wouldn't let me visit my newborn niece until I got vaccinated. The traveler haven't had any odd heart trouble. Luckily, just occasional pain where they injected, which seems strange. Hakeem says a lot of them believe in natural musk. Is that what it is? They believe in their natural musk? Well, if any Armenians are listening right now, you can believe in your natural musk all you want, but to us non-Armenians, we'd prefer if you believed in Old Spice. In fact, that goes to anyone, not just Armenians. Also vegans, people who don't use animal products. If your deodorant is Tom's of Maine, you also should be introduced to Right Guard or Old Spice or something of the sort. Cinnabon says the moon is a holographic projection created by our AI overlords. Stanley says the traveler, yeah, my entire family was convinced I essentially had to get it to make my parents, brother, niece happy. Kronos is back, Bird of Prey. I would love to ask you about hospital stories. Kronos, what hospital story do you want to know? Stanley says, Cinnabon, well then, can they maybe switch it up once in a while? The same moon image is getting boring. Maybe like a strobing RGB effect. Can they do a green on St. Patty's Day? That would be interesting. Chrono says, I don't hate Old Spice. I'm not Armenian. Greg says, I use 50% cologne, 50%, 90% rubbing alcohol instead of deodorant. It works. No aluminum. And I smell like a Macy's whore. Wait, 50% cologne and 50%, 90% rubbing alcohol?
Yeah. Alcohol comes in 70% or 90%.
Mama Price, I mean, alcohol comes in 70% or 90%. Gotcha. Pop culture curator says the moon was brought here to stabilize Earth's rotation to support life. It's also Community Garden Week. Don't go to work unless it's fun day. I don't know if you should follow that one. That sounds like you're going to probably get fired. It's the fan dance day. Of course, they have a Japanese woman instead of a hora. In Japanese culture, fans are suitable for more than just keeping cool. It's fish fingers and custard day. Oh my God. Holy Monday. Learn how to observe Holy Monday and honor Jesus Christ's life and his sacrifice. It's National Chocolate Mousse Day. Mama pray. You wasted all your money on eggs. National Find a Rainbow Day. National Gray Day. Today, let's talk about all things gray, from fictional characters to celebrities and ordinary folks. National Inspiring Joy Day. She could inspire some joy in me. I don't know about this one. National Pro-Life T-Shirt Day. Go on, put on your favorite pro-life tee and go out and declare your stance. Yeah, maybe don't do that if you live in New York or San Francisco or Portland. National Tweed Day. This is Deeja's favorite day. Put on some comfy tweed as we unravel the mystery surrounding this special holiday. It's Paraprofessional Appreciation Day. Hey, Mama Prey was a paraprofessional. And her appreciation was her car got stolen while she was at work. It's Pony Express Day. Get together with your friends and family and celebrate the pioneer spirit of the ancient West. I don't think it's the ancient West. Okay, ancient sounds like ancient Egypt. The Pony Express is only a couple hundred years old. I don't even think it's that old. And finally, it's Weed Out Hate Day, which I thought was about hating weed, but it instead is about weeding out hate. Show the world that love triumphs over hatred by taking a stand against it. Okay, so for Weed Out Hate Day, we're going to show love triumphing over hate. Yes, Mama Prey, we're playing Kissing That. Mama Prey understood. She called it. She couldn't see what was happening, but she knew what was happening. For Weed Out Hate Day, congratulations. We made it. We made it as a society.
No. If you run out of your own things to talk about, you could ask me the question I asked you yesterday.
What question did you ask me yesterday?
What would you do if?
Oh, okay, yeah. So Chrono says, did you ever get transferred to another hospital? No, we tried. Mama Frey tried, but unfortunately, an unstable airway prevented me from being transferred. Had things gone a little bit different, who knows? Who knows what may have happened? But no, I don't have any experience being transferred. There's nothing wrong with hordes, Kronos. Hakeem says I make my own deodorant from coconut oil, baking soda, and cornstarch. Well, I would suggest, unless you have a, maybe you have an allergy or something, but for most people, I would suggest you buy deodorant. It's quite effective. You don't need to use all that much. Inspiring Joy Day. Yeah. What a fake day. Stanley says, well, I'm out. Greg says, hey to Mama Pray. Stanley says, as if people have multiple pro-life shirts. Yeah, I guess they've got a whole closet full of their pro-life shirts. Now, which pro-life shirt will I wear today? Stanley says, what's the consensus on leather elbow patches? I think they're good. Greg says ancient is greater than 1,000 years. I think that's a fair definition of ancient. Chrono says, pot out the hate day. Greg says, that's gay. Chrono says, good is dumb. And Greg says, do it again. Chrono says, weed out the pot smokers and push them into Karoga Day. Chrono says, no UPS. No UPS for sending people to different hospitals. No. Stanley says, deodorant or antiperspirant. I use the term interchangeably. I know they're not technically the same thing, but I use the term interchangeably. Chrono says, my manly musk works just fine. Is it like Sex Panther? 50% of the time or 60% of the time, it works every time. They've done studies, you know. Dan Ben, hi Dan Ben. Greg Strasser says, clip your armpit hairs and the bacteria have left surface area to breed. And Stanley says, I go antiperspirant, but I hear the aluminum ingredient can cause that brain thing. Captain Phantom Nerd says, weed out the pot smokers and push them into Turtistan. Dan Ben says, Homer Simpson did the elbow patches on the jacket, but got them wrong way around. Stan Lee says, tweed patches on leather, brilliant. Oh. Let's head over to Dear Bops. Dear Bops. Stanley says deodorant is supposed to allow you to sweat normally, but masks the odor. Antiperspirant has the stuff to prevent sweating from occurring. Yeah, I say prevent the sweating. Dear Bob, Tetris, rated R. I don't get it. Dear Bob, Tetris 2, Attack of the Falling Blocks, rated R. Dear Bob, Tetris 3, Cold Storage, rated R. Dear Bob, DoorDash is by far the worst delivery company ever. I put an order in and they never came. When I ordered from them one time, then another time, they left my order at someone else's apartment in my same complex. I called customer service and they were no help at all after being on hold with them for 2 hours. So I'm done with DoorDash. I swear to God. What do you think of this? Do you have any advice, Mox? Well, Mox, if it's really you, apologies. I'm sorry to hear that. I would not have wasted 2 hours on the phone with DoorDash. After about 15 or 20 minutes, I would have hung up. I would have called my credit card and I would have told them that I'm assuming I never got the item, so I would have said it was a fraudulent charge. Because if you pay money to somebody and they don't give you, they don't deliver, then that is fraud. So this is one reason I try to charge everything I can on my American Express card. Because American Express has a very pro-customer approach. Like I can call American Express and if I don't get something, I can pretty much guarantee American Express is going to take my side. So I would give DoorDash a reasonable amount of time to correct an issue. But if they left me on hold for too long or whatever, I would go around them. I would call my credit card and I would put in a complaint with them. Now, granted, you take the risk of DoorDash saying they don't want you to be a customer anymore. But if it came to it, that would be what I would deal with it. Now, my personal experience with DoorDash is that they're actually, from my area, they're extremely good. They're not perfect, but if they forget an item, I can tell them that it didn't come, and they offer an immediate refund for the price of the item. Now, if you order an item and part of it doesn't come, then that's kind of annoying. So you've got to know what to say. Like, if I order a meal that has 3 things, and I say, well, the French fries didn't come, even though the burger and the drink came. Well, then they might only offer me, $1 refund. And that's not enough. That's not enough. But if I say the whole meal didn't come, then they offer me a refund for like the $8 for the whole meal. And you might say, well, isn't that lying? And I'd say, no, it's not, because the meal is 3 items. And if I did not get all 3 items, I did not get the meal I ordered. And you'll say, but, I say, but bullshit. If they want to talk to me and hire a person to talk to me, then I can explain to them why $1 is not going to do the refund. But because they want to do it automated, they're making that decision. So I don't feel bad. I do not feel bad if I have to tell them that I didn't get the item I ordered in order to get the refund which I am due. But again, don't do that every time, because if you do, they're going to put you on a blacklist, and then you're not going to be able to get food from them ever again. Stanley says, I think I'd eat if someone left a bag of McDonald's on my doorstep. That's your call. Stanley says, what's your time worth? That's an expensive meal. Exactly. Gorilla says, that mother effer, he offered me summer sausage, and he didn't tell me it had Carolina's Reapers in it. I'm going to make his life a living hell tomorrow. Who offered you? Stanley says, yeah, credit card companies actually care about the customer. They do pretty much anything to keep the cardholder happy. Greg says, I drove DoorDash and made bank during the lockdown. Now driving DoorDash is a joke. I always put in the max tip, or whatever it means. I put in the max tip. Stanley says, I've had trouble getting refunds, but one called to the credit card company and they reversed the charges. The Random Menace says, Amex is in Europe is expensive and acceptance is limited too. Well, it's expensive here. It's the only credit card I know of with a monthly or the yearly fee. But it's worth it to me. And it's the least accepted card out of Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. It's the least accepted, but the companies that don't accept Amex, they're definitely suspect. I generally won't do business with a company if they don't accept Amex, because the only reason they don't accept Amex is because too many Amex customers would complain about them. And so they didn't like getting all their transactions reversed. So if they don't accept Amex, that's a big red flag. There's a giant red flag. Greg says, I don't take low tip orders because they're the cheapos who complain and give you 1 star. Yeah, I got you. I understand that. Stanley says, Kronos, so around here, the restaurant seals the bags with their own sticker. So it's just as safe. Yes, they do that here too. So I can't blame the DoorDash driver if an item is missing because they don't get a chance to look over the order. You can only blame the restaurant. However, if the order calls for a drink and there's no drink, then I kind of can blame the DoorDash driver. Not that I ever have. Cronus says, does Karoga have its own style of cuisine? Yes, it's called fast food. Stanley says, unless they hate you enough to circumvent the sticker. I suppose they could have a friend at the restaurant who can give them extra stickers. Don't fear the Reaper, says Kronos. Do they still have Discover Card? Yes, they do. It's even less than, okay. That is less than American Express, I guess. The traveler never uses DoorDash. I just get my food. I wish I could, traveler. I wish I could. Kronos says the tip counts. Absolutely, it does. Stanley's a traveler, but what about when you're too drunk to drive and all that's open is the drive-through? Stanley says, well, that's fine. I'm safe. I only use DoorDash when I already have my own drinks. And Greg says, McDonald's puts the drink in the bag, so you can't blame the driver. Beagle bites are not fast food. No. Dear Bob, my favorite Star Trek series was TNG. What is yours? Well, it's very hard decision. I'm going to go with Deep Space Nine, although the original series is very, very, very close. I only go with Deep Space Nine because there's 7 seasons of episodes as opposed to just 3 of the original series. But they're really close. Dear Bob, the straight male patriarchy continues another 4 years. An over 200-year streak if you don't count James Buchanan. It's pretty funny watching him fall every time he tries to use stairs. Slapstick comedy at its best. People chant your name, providing a warm feeling of encouragement and affirmation. Only applies to people named Brandon. He's not Hillary. Thank God for small mercies. A finished border wall would have marred the lovely view across the Rio Grande. We must preserve our landmarks. No loud crowds when the president comes to town. Who wants all that pesky traffic? You can rest assured the current president will be indicted for his crimes. Peace of mind. Will never be indicted for his crimes. Peace of mind. He's not Kamala. Shudder. No more distressing media coverage of immigrant kids in cages. They're still in there, but at least we don't have to think about it all the time. The confident boost you feel, knowing that no matter how badly you mess up, you're still more competent than the President of the United States. Hey, you're not doing too bad, kid. Okay, I don't see a question, but solid, Dear Bob. Dear Bob, my name, Simple Jack. Even I got the word flora before you. I do 3 tries and get it. If you want to learn how to do better on Wordle, you can come to my school with me and Gary from Rock Solid. It's called New York School for the Mentally Disabled. See you soon. Jack. Random Menace is tomorrow's Wordle in 4. Time to go to sleep. Have a good night, Random Menace. Thank you for coming. And thank you for the kind words. The Travelers is Bird. I will bring food when I come over. Thank you, Traveler. Stanley's is Dan Ben. Just get a delivery service. They'll bring you food from restaurants that don't have their own delivery service. And yes, they have something like that in England, says Dan Ben. Kronos' Kamala is hot. Wow, her cankles turn me on. Kronos, I think you might be ill, Kronos. Dear Bop, I'm a huge fan of the show, and I mean huge fan, as in my measurements are 42, 39, 56. And if you could say I got it all, I just signed up to be a cuddler and wanted you to be my first client. In order to get my cuddle certificate, I need an endorsement from an actual client, and I thought you could be the one. I will provide one overnight cuddle session for free if you will provide my endorsement to the cuddle.com people. What makes my cuddle session special? I would allow you to rest between my very plump pillows, if you know what I mean. I will put poor Yvette to shame, as my pillows make hers look like mosquito bites. So are you in? Just give me a call when you are ready, and I will come to your crib. Mama Koss. No, thank you.
Okay.
Dear Bob, I'm a 30-year-old number cruncher in the finance world, but deep down I got a green heart, yearning to save the planet, one compost heap at a time. I daydream about trading in my suit and tie for a pair of overalls and a solar panel, but there are a few pesky details holding me back. You see, my bank account is pretty fond of my salary, and it's not exactly thrilled about the idea of a pay cut. Plus, I've spent years building a network of Wall Street wolves, but don't know the first thing about hobnobbing with tree huggers and wind turbine enthusiasts. Bob, can you give me some sage advice about chasing my eco-friendly dreams without bankrupting my wallet or my social life? How can I navigate this midlife career crisis? Sincerely, Captain Planet's apprentice. Well, here's the thing. If you go down this route, you will know nothing but pain and misery. There is no way to use wind turbines to make up enough electricity for everything you need in a modern life. Okay, you need electricity when it's not windy, and they don't make enough batteries to store enough electricity to keep you running. So you have to throw that away. You need to come back to the real life. Now, if you want to become a nature person, instead, I suggest you take the occasional vacations, once, twice, 3 times a year. You take a weekend or a week and go to a hiking destination. You could go backpack around Yosemite Park. You could go hiking through Sedona or the Grand Canyon. You could go to Yellowstone. You could go to any of the many parks national parks in this country and spend your time outdoors. And then when it's all over, you clean up, you pack out, and you go home and you go back to your life. You go back to getting your paycheck. It never stops, and you continue on with your life. That would be my best suggestion. This whole throwing away everything you worked for to start composting garbage in your backyard, that's just basically literally a pile of shit. It's not going to do anything for anyone. The Traveler says, what's the best pizza that's near you? Well, the closest pizzeria is called Pizzarama. I like their pizza. But I mean, that is literally 2 blocks away. 1 long block and 1 short block. But there's a pizzeria on the other side of the neighborhood that has a lot more options. And they don't deliver here. So I would probably try pizza from there. Dear Bob, commerce strikes again. My boss was screwing around with some wires and it zapped him right in the nuts. And now we're all laughing at him. I hesitate to wonder what he was doing that he got zapped in the nuts. But okay, congratulations. Mama Pray is chuckling. Chrono says he didn't type cankles. I thought you did. Chronos is not into foots or that area. Sounds like a bad rap song. Gorilla's random thought says those pillows would be way too big. Chronos is traveling sounds like work. The Travelers is traveling is fun. I love it. Chronos is anything pizza without pineapple. Chronos says more options. Can you get Legos on pizza? No, I'm talking about they've got like baked ziti pizza and penny alla vodka pizza. Gorilla says he didn't pay attention to his surroundings. I figured it was you. And yes, Traveler, that is the Pizzarama address. 3715 Francis Lewis Boulevard, Bayside. Cackles. Kronos, what the hell's a cackle? I thought that was the same thing. Dear Bob, cackling Kamala chameleon is a cacophony of caustic cornholes. You know what, guys? I can't read that. I don't know. The Travelers is okay, just get me on a plane ticket and I'll pick up some pie. Traveler, I would love to. I would love to. This is not the week. Just order the baked ziti then. I don't want baked ziti. I want the baked ziti on the pizza. And anyway, I'm hungry now. So we're going to go. Thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate it as always. This week, Wednesday will be obviously Enterprise. We're going to start with season 2 with the second part of Shockwave. The season 2 premiere of Enterprise is this Wednesday. May or be on this channel or the Bird of Prey 5X channel. We'll see. Thursday will be another Picard review, episode 8. And then Bed Life again on Friday. So, Kapla all. Thanks for hanging out. And one more time, because it's something hate day or whatever. Pasta on pizza. Yes, it's delicious. Weed out the hate day. Weed out the hate. Love